Mr. Platinum Man 1989, and I'm going to be talking about the state of TNA in this video. Now, I've been reading people's comments in other videos, people's comments in forums, as well as seeing other people's videos, and I think some people are exaggerating about the negatives of TNA right now at the moment. Now, of course, let me start off with the Nasty Boys. I hate the fucking Nasty Boys. Everybody pretty much that I've spoken to or seen talk about them hates the Nasty Boys. Now, somebody directly asked Hulk Hogan about, why are the Nasty Boys on our television? And he said that they're friends with him, and honestly, he thought that they could give Team 3D a run for their money. It's kind of test and trial type of thing. Look at Sean Morley. Sean Morley was booed on the pay-per-view, and it looked, on Genesis, it looked like they were planning to give him a main event push. And in Impact, not long after, that's it. He gets de-pushed by Desmond, and it looks like they have nothing for him, which is great. This is what TNA does most of the time. They listen to the fans. That's why Jarrett is face right now. That's why Jeremy Borash is not fired from the company, and a couple other things. Now, some people say that they shouldn't have to listen to the fans, that it should be obvious that Nasty Boy shouldn't be on our television and JB should. But once again, everybody has their own opinion. I hate the fucking Nasty Boys, but I know that they have this match booked for Against All Odds, so I know that I have to deal with it for at least that long. Now, if it continues after that, I'm gonna be highly upset, but I'm gonna learn how to deal with it and just look at the big picture. Against All Odds, that's one part of the entire card. The rest of the card, we have this 8-star studded tournament, which at first I wasn't a big fan of that at first, but now I am, because I saw the Before the Bell Against All Odds preview, which you can see on my channel, it's the feature video, and the way Eric Bischoff talked about this tournament and all the other superstars, it really put this tournament over. It seems like not just the winner gets a title shot, but even the runner-up has a high place in the heavyweights division. It's gonna basically transform into a sort of rankings system like you have in boxing or UFC or anything else, so that people basically know who should be in store for the next title shot. And I think this is brilliant. It gives it a more real feel to professional wrestling. Now, also on the card, we have Samoa Joe versus AJ Styles. Now, so many people have prayed for years to see an AJ versus Samoa Joe headline a pay-per-view for the World Heavyweight Championship. And all these people that thought that Hogan was gonna push everybody to the moon, people like the Nasty Boys, let's thank God that they're not in the title picture. Let's appreciate that. Let's appreciate that Hernandez and Matt Morgan are the tag team champions, and not Scott Hall and Sean Waltman. Let's think about that. Let's think about millions of other things that could fall under that category. So, Samoa Joe versus AJ Styles. We wasn't getting that last year before Hogan came. We was getting Kurt Angle versus Sting, or Kurt Angle, Sting, and the Dudley Boys in a 4-way, Mick Foley, Jeff Jarrett, and all that stuff. So all these people that are talking about that the veterans and all that stuff are stealing the spotlight. Right now, the young talent has the spotlight more than ever. People like the Pope, D'Angelo De Niro, Desmond Wolfe, AJ Styles, Samoa Joe, Matt Morgan, the list goes on, and it's so ironic that there's more old people than ever, more veterans than ever, and they're still not getting the spotlight. Now, some people question Ric Flair's role in TNA, and they don't want to see him in his television. Why? Yes, he might wrestle soon, those are the rumors, but Ric Flair is Ric Flair. Come on. I mean, I want to appreciate every little bit of juice he has left before he retires for good. And God forbid one day dies 10 years from now. I'll be glad that I got to see him wrestle as many matches as he physically can. Now, if somebody like Scott Hall that can't even make it over a guardrail, then I understand that. But Ric Flair, Ric Flair could still go, in my opinion. Of course, he'll have to prove that whenever he does wrestle. But having this mentor role with AJ Styles, he even said it on a radio show, how much he's devoting himself to that. That him and AJ are trying to steal the spotlight every single second they're on TV. Now it just looks like this is like he's enjoying it so much, and I just see big things coming out of this. AJ already looks like a bigger star in my opinion. Um, the way he's, representing himself. Now, some other notes. Some people think that it's a no-brainer that Kurt Angle is going to win this tournament. I really don't see that happening. I mean, if it does happen, why not Angle and AJ in a cage? I'll accept that at Lockdown. But I don't see it happening. I see Angle losing to a Desmond Wolfe, or somebody just rolls him up and steals the one, kind of like Jay Lethal did, No Surrender a couple years ago. I don't see them putting AJ versus Kurt again. Who I do see, based on how Hogan talks about him and the potential that this match will have, Abyss winning the tournament. I hope he wins the tournament. I would love to see an Abyss versus AJ Styles World Heavyweight title match at Lockdown, which was, I believe, the main event 5 years ago. I'm getting so much nostalgic feelings watching TNA, and not nostalgic as in thinking of the early 90s, but thinking about the old TNA in 2005. How many of you know that Destination X is rumored to be an all X Division pay-per-view? No matter who it is that was in control of TNA before Hogan, there's never been an all X Division pay-per-view that I know of in TNA. So I don't understand how some people are only looking at the negatives and not seeing at all the positives we're getting. An all X Division pay-per-view, that makes me come in my shorts. I'm sorry, but it does. Like, I could only imagine that the X Division title will be defended in the main event and make it feel big and important. But before all that, we're going to have so many matches that we probably could give great ratings to. We're not going to see the Nasty Boys on that damn pay-per-view. I'll give you that much. I'm pretty sure about that. It's just, there's so much things that I never dreamed will happen in TNA that I hoped for, but it's happening in recent times. Like the Unbreakable rematch, AJ versus Daniels headlining the pay-per-view, AJ versus Kurt headlining the pay-per-view, which hasn't happened until now in Genesis. AJ versus Joe now. The future looks bright in my opinion. I could only imagine what they have in store for us at Lockdown, Slammiversary, as well as Bound for Glory. Another note, some people are talking about that the Pope and AJ should have been the main event. Now, I agree, but I think it did feel right where it was. Maybe it should have been closer to the main event. This Kevin Nash and Mick Foley match that was short, I was surprised to see the band attack Kevin Nash. Now this match, so much people are talking so much shit about it, but the fact is that it was the highest rated segment of the show. So they know what they're doing to an extent. You can't argue there. I mean, you could argue, everybody has their opinion, but you know what I mean. Something else about that. I'm liking that these recent impacts, you get a different feel of the roster every week. You don't see the same guy every week doing the same thing. When Main Event was getting their push, every single Impact episode would start with Main Event Mafia promo. And every main event was Main Event Mafia versus somebody. First week after Genesis, we got AJ versus Kurt as the main event. Next week, Jeff Jarrett versus Mr. Kennedy. This week, Foley versus Kevin Nash. One of my biggest complaints about TNA is that the roster is so big and talented that not everybody gets time to shine. Now, I think this is the best way to fix it at the moment. Some people will say that getting rid of the Nasty Boys and more backstage promos will be the best way, but I really like the backstage promos and the storyline stuff. I feel that the pay-per-view should focus on wrestling and the actual show should focus on building up and less wrestling. That's just my opinion. Either way, I like that you see Desmond Wolfe put over 1 week and you don't necessarily see him the next week. Somebody else gets that time to shine. It gives opportunities for the roster to shine even brighter, and Yeah, Desmond wasn't on the show last week, but he's already advanced to the tournament. What more does he need? He's on the card of the pay-per-view, along with Angle, Hernandez, and Matt Morgan, I believe. So, either way, all I'm saying is that, guys, just wait to look at the whole big picture. And most of the people that are complaining about TNA saying that it got bad ever since Hogan joined were the same people that were complaining about TNA in September or August before Hogan even joined. I think just some people just always look for the negative and don't look at the positives. Ask me questions on the comments, please, because you tell me what you hate about TNA. Tell me what you like about TNA, because everybody has their own opinion. Some people might see that I go easy on them. Some people, might think otherwise. Either way, I want to hear what you have to say, what you hate about the company right now, and what you like. Mr. Platinum Man 1989. I'm loving TNA right now, and I can't wait till they move to Monday nights. I feel that they're ready.